Expansion is always good for our organization and the NPL because we're bringing in new people. Plus, it does increase our value of our teams because every time we sell a team, it's hopefully for a little bit more than the last team. When you really analyze professional pickleball, at the very best, you're probably playing to 36, 37 years old, and then there's a 13-year gap before you can get to play professional sports again. You've never had another sport in anywhere where people look forward to getting older. Oh man, I'm going to be 50 next year. Let's go.
Hello, welcome back to the Future of Pickleball. This is the show on the Selkirk TV channel where we talk to the leaders of the industry that are driving the sport, steering it, finding where the future is going to be in pickleball. Today, we've got a cool panel. We have the CEO of the National Pickleball League. We have one of the club team owners on board, and we have the head of media for Selkirk and Selkirk TV. We're going to talk about senior competitive pickleball tonight. Rod, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Rommie, Maxey, the team owner, welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
And we've got Cooper Deck, who I have been wanting to have on this show for a long time, who runs all of media for Selkirk Media and for Selkirk TV. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me today.
It's an absolute honor to be here, Paul. I've watched every single episode from afar, whether I'm editing them or just making sure they get on our YouTube page. So it's awesome to be here.
Thank you. So, Rod, I want to start with you. As I was preparing for the show and looking into your background a little bit and seeing that you have a deep background in the sports world, that you were involved with marketing for USA Gymnastics, for USA Swimming. You were the chief revenue officer for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You've got a great background. What drew you to the NPL and Champions Tour Pickleball?
Well, thanks. I do have a pretty humble with the background. I've been able to be around a lot of really interesting sports and a lot of great properties. I actually found the NPL through the Coachella Valley Scorpions. And the long story short is my wife and I moved to Palm Springs from Indianapolis 6 years ago, didn't know a single soul. And I got introduced to Kim Jade via another project. And when she was trying to buy the team. And when she was successful, I got involved with her and to help the Scorpions with their local sponsorship. It was completely because it was a way for me to meet more people in the Coachella Valley. And I thought, I can probably help them and lend some expertise to them. And I got doing some work with Kim, and we were having some success. And she said, hey, I want to introduce you to the folks with the league, and they're looking at some opportunities, and maybe you could help them. And so, lo and behold, I was introduced to Beth last August. And next thing you know, 30 days later, I'm at Rommie's place in Houston, being introduced to the team as a new consultant to come on and help evaluate what's going on with the league. And so it was sort of serendipitous that we found each other.
You know, I think that's so cool. And as you mentioned, Rommie, one of the things that I looked forward to having Rommie on this panel is, given the fact that he is a facility owner in the Pickleball Country Club in Houston, and he took the position to buy one of the teams in the NPL. Rommie, give us a little bit of an idea of what your thoughts and ideas were as you looked at that opportunity.
Well, first of all, being over 50, just barely, it was obviously a great fit for being involved with senior pickleball and the Champions Pickleball. And Rick Witzkin is a very close friend of mine, and we had done some other things together. We'd done some international travel things. And so he really got me more interested. My first year, I was able to play as the super sub. I got to be the sub that just kind of showed up and played with any team that was available, that somebody pulled a hammy or did something. And that was, a lot of fun for me. So then I was able to talk to Hugh Zhang, Amy Bloom Rosen, and Hal Martin, who are all friends. And so the association with those folks in Houston, we got together and decided we wanted to be a part of it. And here we are. The Houston Hammers are, a pretty integral part of the entire NPL now, and we're excited to take on that task this year as well as last year.
Good. So, Rod, one of the things that I want to kind of have you do is sort of take our viewers through what the NPL is doing, what the structure is, how many teams have you got. Tell us kind of about the details of what somebody who doesn't know yet what NPL is, what's happening.
Happy to. So the NPL, this is our third season. Started out with 6 teams in 2023. Went to 12 last year. We're at 12 right now. We intend to expand to 16 teams next year. We have letters of intent with 2 different folks right now, pretty close with the third. And we have 13 other cities that we are in conversations with for that final spot. And our teams, Rommie kind of alluded to this, our teams are 14 players each, and each team has 1 male and 1 female player over the age of 60. And we did change our business model this year, and we are now playing, we have 5 regular season matches, May through September, and then a championships in October. And what we're doing in the months of May through September, we're playing in team markets. And that was not something we did exclusively last year. And the intent is to work with our teams to help them build their brands, build their businesses in their markets, allow them to get local sponsors and help with their operational costs, really allow them to use their team as a catalyst to do great things in their community. And whether that's with youth programs or adults, but have a presence in the community. And the Houston Hammers have done a great job. Recently, they had an event with the Houston Astros, and they had pickleball night out with the Astros. Team members were out there, and the Astros used it as a way to promote the sport and allow the team to be involved with it. We're seeing at the beginning of the year out here in Coachella Valley, the Scorpions hosted an exhibition match with the Seattle team. They did it at their sponsor location at the casino. And so we're just seeing more special events, more leagues, more tournaments, more community programs. Some teams are even starting youth foundations. And so we really are encouraging them to have visible presence in their communities. And so that business model change is really helping us to do that. And so we think there's a great opportunity out here. There is so much talent. We are seeing so much competition on the weekends. It's just phenomenal. People love to compete. And what we're really trying to do is also define our brand with that player experience. This league really was started with Rick and Beth, Rick Witzkin and Beth Bellamy, playing at events and just feeling like, hey, I think we could do something really special for players over the age of 50. And that's how the National Pickleball League was born. And we want to take that initial, foundation of theirs and really build out on it. And so we really try to treat this player special. We have a great opening night on Friday night. We really try to cater them and celebrate these players that are 50 and over. And there's so many great players out here. We've got former professional athletes from, tennis, racquetball, football, baseball, cycling, volleyball. And we're just seeing more and more of these just great competitive athletes and very talented players over the age of 50. And so we're celebrating them every month we can and give them a chance to compete. And we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Good. Cooper, that really kind of is the perfect segue. For those of you that don't know who Cooper Deck is, he is the head of media for Selkirk, but he also runs all of Selkirk TV. When you get into this kind of a conversation where you started talking with Rod about partnering with them, what is it that you're looking for, and what did you like about what NPL was doing?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. And something we've seen on Selkirk TV is we offer, at Selkirk, our mission statement is to fuel the pickleball obsession found in every player through premier product, which almost every other pickleball paddle brand in the market does, right? They produce pickleball paddles or equipment, whatever it may be. But also the second part of that mission statement is to fuel the pickleball obsession found in every player through premier products and ecosystem, which differentiates us in a big way. So our owners, Mike and Rob, have always been really, really big on that. Hence why we have Selkirk TV, we have playpickleball.com. Not only do we want to sell you our product because we believe it's the best product in the market, but also We want to help you throughout your pickleball journey, right? So when we started Selkirk TV, a lot of the content that we produced was educational content, right? Or talking about the latest news in the pickleball market. Paul, your show that we're on right now is a perfect example. And as that started, we also developed some relationships with leagues where we would live stream their match or their tournament. And heading into 2025, we knew that our viewers loved watching live pickleball. Didn't matter what it was. They just wanted to see people playing pickleball, live tournaments, live action. Stakes are high. There's things on the line, right? People are competing. And NPL is one of the biggest players in that space. So it started off as a super casual conversation with Rod. It was basically like, hey, we have a big audience. You guys are doing great things with NPL. Would you like to partner up and potentially we can get you a bigger audience and add on to what you're already doing, and we can provide some more value to our current audience, right? That eventually, we can get into it later, blossomed into something bigger, a larger partnership that's media based for sure, but also a larger partnership in growing the brand too. And so I'm just talking with Rob. He alluded to it. Was they're getting into pickleball communities within where their franchises are located and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And one of Selkirk's biggest missions since day one, Mike and Rob, our owners, have preached, we want to grow the game, right? We want to get into communities, grow the game, and NPL and us were really aligned. So it just made sense across the board.
Cool. Rommie, the natural segue to that conversation, this part of the conversation, is the fact that you had to see the vision, because at the end of the day, everything about NPL for you is what can you do in Houston? What can you do for the Pickleball Country Club? Guide us a little bit about how you see the vision of NPL serving a facility operator like yourself.
Well, we saw the excitement in the initial part. And of course, having been in the first year playing a little bit as a super sub and so forth and getting the vibe and what was going on with the NPL, I wanted to be a part of it and continue to be a part of it. And then we were able to work with the other co-owners that we have now, as I mentioned, and just to bring it to our facility. We were the only ones at the beginning, day one, that had a home court. We were kind of, that started that, and now we're going to have a number of teams that will be following suit here soon. But we had an opportunity to bring the hammers to the Pickleball Country Club, which was exciting for us. And so with that combination, we've been able to get some sponsorships. We're doing outreach programs all the time even at other clubs around the Houston area to attract, people, followers to the hammers. We've done combines, our local combines, and that's been exciting. We've had 2 or 3 good, successful combines. Of course, the Selkirk for us was a really good fit because of the fact, well, number one, I'm a Selkirk pro and teaching pro with our club, and Selkirk's been a big part of our programs there, and they've been sponsored our tournaments. They've sponsored some other things that we've done, some leagues. So they're a big partnership with us at the club. And now with the NPL, it's just an extra thing for us as far as we're concerned. And we couldn't be happier to have the Selkirk name behind the NPL and what they bring to the table as far as Scooper said, bringing up the viewership, and we want more eyes on us, and
Sure.
That helps us.
I want to take a quick moment to tell you about something new in pickleball. We have all been ghosted in the pickleball group chat. Now here's a way to fix that. Get the Play More Pickleball app. We're trying to get some pickleball in, so you send out a message to the group. A few people like the message, but what does that mean? Will they actually show up? And what kind of players are they? Will you have enough people for doubles? Play More is the new pickleball app that does the frustrating part for you. It will send smart invitations to play. You can easily see who's RSVP'd, and then you can use the AI matchmaking tool to balance your games. That means no more 5-0 versus 3-0 matchups. The best part, it's free. Find it in the App Store or use the web version at getplaymore.com. Playmore is the most stress-free scheduling app in pickleball. Now let's get back to the show. Rod, I want to ask you, with that great description that Rommie's making about all the things that NPL did for him and his club and in the Houston market, I mean, doing things with the Astros, very cool stuff. How do you go about vetting or or what's the criteria you're looking for in terms of the next group of ownership coming into NPL?
Yeah, it's a great question. There are a couple of factors for us. One is the market that they're in. We obviously are trying to play in these team markets, so we need facilities there. Rommie indicated they really were the first team in the league that had their own facility. We now have 5, I believe, that have their own facilities or are being built right now. So we're definitely seeing a transition that, again, our message is, don't just look at this as having a team in the league. Look at this as being the starting point for a pickleball business. For some people, that means they're hosting leagues and tournaments. They're creating youth programs. They're having those special events like the combines. They're really creating more of a foothold in their community, and the facility may be another aspect of that. So as we look at our team opportunities, obviously the quality of the ownership and what the partnership looks like is important. The city's important. The facilities there are important. Kind of population that, player population is great because we want our teams to have local players to the extent they can because it helps them with that ongoing activation and engagement in their market. So, as Rommie indicated, there are a couple of players on their team that are from Houston. In some cases, the Coachella Valley team, 13 of the 14 players are from California. So some of that is really just by population of where players are. Southern California, Florida, you're going to have a lot of players, and it just kind of matches up that way. But those are kind of the factors that we're looking for as we vet ownership and we look at those opportunities. And just like when we first got engaged with Selkirk, I was really drawn to trying to work with Selkirk for a lot of the obvious reasons, but you also have the people reason. I just thought Cooper Deck was a phenomenal guy. I love the style, I love the substance, and I love what he represented. And we want to do business with people that we like. And so that's another variable in looking at ownership groups. Do they fit in? How will they fit in? Are there other ways that they may contribute to what the league is trying to do? What kind of value, what kind of contributions can they make to the ownership group?
Nice. It's interesting is I have a lot of tentacles around the sport, and I know a man who was very involved with the original organization and creation of the Champions Tour in golf. And it's been great fun to talk to Mark Sheldy about what that history was like and where it started. And here we are 25 years later, and it's a big deal. So I think the idea of anybody watching this, if they've not seen an NPL event, try and find a way to do it. And if you're ambitious, get together with these guys. I just love what this stuff is doing. I did want to ask you something very specifically, though, Rod, and that was, what will make the relationship, the partnership? You do partnerships with a lot of different people, but with Selkirk, what will make the Selkirk partnership optimal?
Well, it's got to be, first of all, it's got to work for both parties. So many times a property is, looking for their partners, and it's sort of what can they do for them. My background in sports marketing, having worked with a lot of different teams and leagues and a lot of sponsors, we definitely need to be a business driver for the folks that we work with. And being a business driver for your partners means different things to them. In some cases it's, hey, they're driving sales. Some cases it's we're launching a product. In the case with Selkirk, there was an interest and a need for additional programming. And so we wanted to help drive that because that's what's important to Selkirk. So I also love the intersection right now between the two because some of the marketing initiatives that Cooper shared with us in terms of, hey, things are important to Selkirk, really align with what we're doing. And so we want to be more active in markets. We want to be more visible in our team markets. We're looking at really growing and expanding our business platform with the league and beyond. So it just seemed to be an authentic and a credible fit. And that's what you want in the partnerships. You want brands that see something together. You want brands that want to achieve something together. We don't pretend to be something that we're not. We know we're a relatively new league, and so in some ways we're a challenger. We've got to fight hard. We've got to think differently. We need to be very open-minded. And we also, I think, bring an attitude of definitely that win-win. We're not just looking at this as a one-way street. We need to be a good partner back to Selkirk. We need to be a good partner and deliver on what we said we're going to deliver on, and then be creative in terms of new opportunities and share things and give ourselves an opportunity to sort of be creative and grow together. And again, we know Selkirk is a very established brand. We're thrilled that they're working with us. And we also just really appreciate that we had some common vision and a chance to go work together to achieve that vision.
Cool. Cooper, this creates the natural question. You see an endless number of people who want to partner with Selkirk. You can't partner with everybody. The bar has gotten higher and higher. What is it that from the real partnering leadership side of Selkirk you're looking for and that you think you'll get out of the NPL partnership?
For sure. I mean, I'll echo basically what Rod said right back to you guys is, right. The first call we had with Rod and his team was great. It was very conversational. We just basically were like, hey, here's what's on the table. Here's what we want to accomplish. Here's what are priorities for us. And to Rod's point, a lot of them were aligned, right? Getting into pickleball communities, growing the game, amongst a lot of other things, right? So as time has gone on, I mean, I've been at Selkirk for 4.5 years now. Seems like 20, 30 years with how fast pickleball has grown.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of things have changed in the pickleball world. The core values at Selkirk and our leadership team, what they preach down to us is, even though we are one of the biggest brands in the space, we're never complacent. We're never satisfied. We're always looking for ways to get better, whether it's in product or the content that we're providing. And that kind of seemed to be the same approach that Rod had in his leadership with NPL, which was super interesting. Previously, and this, Rod, I think this was actually before you came on, we did a few live streams of NPL's events on Selkirk TV. It wasn't a formalized agreement. It was kind of a, hey, let's work together. Let's see where this goes. And it was a good test run, right, to formalize something and really, really partner on a high level on multiple things. So, NPL has, one of the best streams, if not the best stream in pickleball. You see a lot of these tours popping up left and right. A lot of them are great. Some are not as great, but just across the board, it seems like NPL has their everything in order. And so we were super excited. Like, this is a great opportunity for both of us. So overall, it's just been great.
Terrific. Rommie, one of the things that I would like you to comment, and I think you have a particularly good perspective on this, is describe to our viewers what the player experience participating in NPL is, but also what the spectator viewer experience is when an NPL event goes on.
The player experience is different from any other thing that you do because it's a team format. And a lot of, all of us in the amateur or the professional side, whatever the case may be, we've all been to tournaments and you've got a partner and you're pulling for your partner to do well because you're only as good as your partner, right? So, but when a team event like the NPL, it's so different because now you have 14 people that are cheering for you. They're pulling for you. Guys with more experience, maybe in the instructional side a little bit, they're out there actually helping some of the other players. You might want to do this. You might want to try that. Everybody has a different role, not just playing, but some are doing some instruction too, which brings out, everybody's abilities. But it's just the camaraderie. I mean, there's cheering going on. There's chants going on. We do, what time is it? Hammer time, it's weird.
Yeah.
Everybody's tired of hearing hammer time, and we come out the MC Hammer, the music or something. But it's just the fun, it's the vibe, and as Rod alluded to, I mean, we've got the Friday night dinner where everybody comes together and has a good time, and it's the fellowship, it's the friendships. Everybody in the NPL. I mean, Kim, you mentioned Kim Jag, she's a close friend, and I mean, we love each other. Outside of the play, it's now the competition starts. We're trying to beat each other, obviously, in the games, but it's just the love of the game. And then just the overall concept of the team concept is so much more fun than a tournament itself, and for me. And so People are talking to each other. They're actually looking for partners from the other
Sure.
team, things that they might get together in a tournament later on in a senior pro event or something.
And then what is the somebody who wants to attend an NPL event? Are there costs involved? What's involved with somebody coming and seeing what these events look like? What's that experience like?
Well, the NPL has given us
we don't.
Oh,
We work with our venues around the country. We play in Denver coming up, for example, and then we're in Kansas City and Houston in July. We don't charge admission. We invite people to come out. Like Rommie are able to, let folks, his current customers in Houston at the Pickleball Country Club know that NPL is coming to town and encourage them to come on out. So we want people to come out and take it all in. It is simply some of the best competitive pickleball you will see. The level of play is phenomenal. Players, we had a couple of subs here recently, and high level subs. I mean, players that are, pod one type players, they couldn't get over how competitive it is. And it is, at your end is like a gold medal match. You're because you're playing the best. And so it's a lot of fun. I would love to have anybody and everybody come on out and see what we're doing.
Very nice. What I want to do is as we're kind of moving through this is I'm going to ask each of you in a little different way, but I really want to know about what you see in the future, and in your case, Rod, of the overall of NPL over the next 2 to 3 years. Where do you see it going, and what should we look for?
Well, I think we have just nothing but, blue ocean ahead of us, as they say. That's as a marketer, you look for that, what they call the blue ocean strategy. Where's the water, the calmest, that nobody else is out there? There obviously is a lot of, there are a lot of tournaments and that type of thing. But for me, the strategy is, it's our demographic. As I said early on, we're not shying away from who we are. Again, as a marketer, a lot of brands want to go after a certain, 25-year-old plus demo. We are primarily the 50-year-old demo, 50 plus. It's the wealthiest demo out there. $8.3 trillion is what people 50 plus will spend in the marketplace. We have folks and our demographic and population focus on health and wellness and longevity. And our players, again, very authentic. That's what they're thinking of. That's what they're looking for. So we see a real fit with brands in those complementary spaces. So not just an athletic and a brand like a Selkirk, but it's health and nutrition and wellness and sleep and tourism, even real estate. Because again, there are so many aspects of that global wellness economy that really fit this demographic. And so for us, it's expansion. It's how do we get more teams? How do we look at other playing opportunities? Do we create a separate division for 60-year-olds? Do we even, entertain an opportunity to go a little younger? Do we look at tournament opportunities, destination camps, wellness retreats? And so, again, taking the sport of pickleball, using that really as a catalyst to attract more like-minded people who are interested in experiences and want to be around others, other folks kind of in the tribe and those same kind of experiences, food and style and lifestyle and travel and pickleball. And so that's what I see for us is just nothing but a huge opportunity to grow our influence, to grow and attract more folks in this 50 plus demo and really celebrate this demo and use the sport of pickleball as the center point for that.
Super. Rommie, from the specifics of a facility operator, certainly an engaged pickleball person, what is your vision of specifically how you and the Pickleball Country Club will flourish in the next 2 to 3 years through the NPL expansion and relationship?
Well, obviously, expansion is always good for our organization and the NPL because we're bringing in new people, new environments, new locations, and those are wonderful. And plus, it does increase our value of our teams because every time we sell a team, it's hopefully for a little bit more than the last team that we sold for. So that is part of it. Now, Rod did allude to the wellness and things like that, but we don't charge admission, but we do expect them to step up to the bar and have a glass of wine or a cold beer while they're there. So there's that part, but it's all fun. I mean, with the excitement of the NPL and what goes on, we're just so blessed to be able to have that league for 50 and over participants. Because when you really analyze professional pickleball, at the very best, you're probably playing to 36, 37 years old. And then there's a 13-year gap
Right.
before you can get to play professional sports again. And I think that's something that's just really exciting for people. You've never had another sport in anywhere where people look forward to getting older. Oh man, I'm going to be 50 next year. Let's go.
Yeah, very
So
nice.
uh,
So, Cooper, one of the things that I've really wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about is how, as you're looking at partnerships and you've seen tremendous changes in growth in your career at Selkirk of 4.5 years that really lives like 20. What do you see in the next 2 to 3 years from both your partnership with NPL, but also how you see the media role for Selkirk playing out in the entire sport?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. And I always say I'd love to make a prediction what pickleball, the industry, is going to be like a year from now. And then 3 months later that we're like, that happened. And then 10 other things happened. Right. So, but to answer your question, I think, with NPL, obviously, our streaming partnership with them on Selkirk TV is huge. So not only do we have, the live stream that we blast out to all of our viewers and they can come on and watch it, but we also have their matches in the on-demand section of the app. So people can go back and watch those afterwards if they want to, if they just want to kill time or maybe look at the strategy that pro-level players are playing with, which I think is super cool and that a lot of people in our ecosystem do. But I think one of the coolest things about NPL, and Rod alluded to this, Rommie, you did too a little earlier, is whether franchise owners, pros that are playing in it, employees, everyone involved with NPL are all leaders in their respective pickleball communities, right? There's a lot of people who are coaching, giving lessons, growing the game. And we've always been huge on that, right? We want to be a part of that any way that we can be. And one thing that Rod and I talked about was how can we activate? How can we partner on an in real life event around a tournament or at a clinic or something along those lines? So we haven't quite gotten there yet. The conversation started, the season started soon after that. So we're just trying to get our ducks in a row, so to say, for everything we got going on. But 2-3 years down the road, we want to make sure that, we're getting in front of the people that are coming to NPL events, right? And connecting with people who are connected to the NPL community. So, overall, like I said, it's what makes pickleball so special, Romy, to your point, is it brings people together, and why it's blown up is because of the community that it builds, right? So at Selkirk, we're really trying to find ways that we can be a part of that, and NPL is definitely a huge part of that for sure.
Very cool. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. This has been great. I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys out at the courts, and I will be at an NPL event somewhere here in the not too distant future. I've been to one. I'll be at another one. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you,
Thank
Paul.
you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Paul.
your time.
Appreciate it.